Hey everybody, this is Tammy DeLu. We are a couple of minutes before our webinar, but I want to let you know some of you are newbies to GoToWebinar, including some of our presenters and panelists today. So I want to go over a little bit of what we can expect. I hope you enjoy my dancing babies as I do this. On your right-hand side of your computer is your GoToWebinar panel or control panel. And you can grab it at the top and move it around all over the place. But the important things to know is that there is a chat box and a place to put questions there. So if during the presentation you have questions, go ahead and type them in and I will get them to our presenter. The other thing is your audio control. Those are important. Make sure that you don't have two microphones on. You'll get that feedback. If I do call on you, make sure that you're just using one microphone. You also can control your volumes there and other things. So if you're not hearing us clearly, please go right ahead and make those adjustments. Webcam, I want to say about webcam, when you have 3 women, or actually now we have 4 women doing this tonight, none of us want to be on camera. We've had a hard day. We've had a hard COVID 9 or 10 months. We don't want to be seen. We want to be heard. Okay, so don't expect us to be on the camera. You're probably sick of seeing people on camera anyway online, so it's no big deal. You're going to hear what we have to say, and you're going to see slides and dancing babies today. Okay, so before we get started, my name is Tammy DeLu. For those of you who don't know me, there's a few people that are brand new on here. A lot of you have been with me since almost the beginning of time, and I thank you for that. It's been nice that you've been on these webinars, so you know what to expect. If you're on this call tonight, it's probably because you or someone you know or a client has debt issues and they'd like to resolve them. And this is not one of those crazy, schemy, weird things. It's not somebody in a yurt somewhere praying over your debt and trying to get rid of it. It is actually a software-based, you know me, being nerdy, software-based kind of solution for these debt issues. So again, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your happy hour to come join us tonight. Again, my name is Tammy DeLu, and you want to have a paper, maybe a paper and pencil. You will be getting a recording of this later on. As soon as it's rendered, I'll send you the link. But you want to take down these important phone numbers, contact information, Calendly links, and all that sort of stuff. So grab a pencil. If you can even find what, around my house now, we're so digital, I can't even find a pen that works most of the time. But get pen, paper, and this is me. Yeah, I don't know why I thought this was funny, but it's Molon Lave. Come and take it, right? I don't know. It has to do with shoes. I could never in my lifetime afford a $5,000 pair of shoes, nor would I want one. But again, my name is Tammy DeLu. For those of you just linked on, 951-658-0492 on the West Coast. That is my office number. So if you need to get in touch with me for any reason, that's the number you want. So welcome, 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 everyone. This is happy hour somewhere. Where is it? It's okay. It's 4 o'clock here on the West Coast, 6 o'clock Central Time, and you guys on the East Coast are at 7. So we've kind of overlapped the happy hour, but I want to welcome you. And if you have a libation, please be judicious with it because I want you to pay attention to what we're going to talk about today. And our friend, this presentation is made possible by our friend coronavirus. No, it's really not. I put that up on the screen to remind us all that, yes, it's easy to get burned out, but going forward, digital is going to be our friend and not our enemy. So if you're on this call today and you're wondering how you can use what we're going to tell you in your business, we're going to tell you a little bit about that. And most importantly, because of coronavirus, so many of your friends and family members, and maybe even you, have experienced additional debt because of this. I know that for a while there, I was doing the same thing. I was like robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then both of them showed up at my door. So today we're going to talk about how we can reduce that and get out of that debt load and be prepared for the next crisis, because there will be one. Okay, if you're an agent, make an appointment directly with me if you want to talk more about the marketing part and the lead generation part of this whole thing. So again, 951-658-0492. Now, today I want to introduce our wonderful, brilliant ladies. And I say ladies, okay, this is okay for guys too, but these are some brilliant ladies that I happen to work with. Kristin, unmute. Kristin Colca. Okay, she puts up with all of us. She's got the greatest temperament to work with in the entire universe because she has to put up with a lot of stuff from me. Hello, Kristin.
Hi, Tammy. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, tell them a little bit about who you are really quickly, just, and how what you do every day when you're not corralling me.
Absolutely. So I've been working in financial services for about 10 years now. And really what we specialize in is helping our clients gain financial freedom and using safe money strategies. So, we're not encouraging our clients to take risk. We really want them to make smart, safe choices with their money, and helping them get out of debt is really the first step towards that.
Perfect. Thank you. And by the way, somebody said they were having trouble hearing, they were hearing feedback, and it's probably on their end. You probably have your microphone, maybe your microphone speakers and your laptop or your computer speakers on, or your external speakers. So you just want one set of speakers working. Hope that helps. Thank you, Kristin. Teresa Kuhn, she is doing a little computer wizardry right now. She will be on shortly, but she is the perpetrator of this whole thing. She is the goddess of the infinite bank. Don't you think that's a good title?
Here.
She's here. How do you like that title?
Here.
How do you like that title I gave you?
I love the goddess of the infinite bank. Oh my gosh, it sounds very woo-woo.
So Teresa, just really briefly tell everyone who you are and why you're doing this, other than just you don't have anything else to do.
Well, actually, we all have lots to do. And thank you so much, Tammy, for setting this up. And you are the what word can I use for you in terms of like webinars?
Nefarious mastermind of webinars.
Yes. And I am honored to be here with these beautiful women. And thank you all for joining us. We have been working in financial services collectively probably over 50, 60 years. I myself have been in financial services for over 30 years. And we have come to a time when what I had learned about many decades ago about how the financial systems really work and all the issues with the financial systems have come to light. Now it's not so strange to talk about, fiat currency and the Federal Reserve and how things, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right, when it comes to financial investments and savings. And so we're living in such really interesting times. And the focus today, more than anything, for so many people is how do they get rid of debt so that, if anything, the debt works for them. So it's transforming debt to wealth.
Perfect.
And we've got amazing strategies to help with wealth creation.
Yep.
But first, we've got to harness in the debt and make it work for you. And we've got some amazing things to share.
Thank you, Teresa. That's perfect. I made a whole slide for this lady. She is tireless. She is fearless. She got muscles, man. So don't mess with her. Don't mess with Texas. Don't mess with Erica Sherwood. She is our only real Texan. Do you realize that? That not even though I was raised there all my life, I was actually born in Topeka, Kansas, through no fault of my own. So so anyway, we've got Erica, and if you'll see, this is the first thing you want to write down after my number, or the second thing you want to write down, freedom. If you text freedom to 512-948-3594, you can schedule the savings analysis with Erica, and there's her Calendly, and we will give you all that after everything's done today. So I just thought we should have a little levity. You guys can unmute Teresa and Kristin and weigh in on this. if you've been at home in a lockdown state, and I notice many of you are in Michigan and several of you are here in California with me, then you know this is how we started out the year last year. You know, it was a good year last year. Now this is what we look like going forward, February 2021. We really need to get out of this funk and get ourselves back into shape, and that's financial shape as well. So you're here because this is how to live debt free now and forever and ever. This is not a Dave Ramsey program. Doesn't that sound like a Dave Ramsey title, doesn't it? How to live debt free now and forever and ever. And we beat you on the head until you stop spending money. That's not what we're going to do today. We're going to have a short overview. We're going to ask Erica to unmute her microphone and join me. If you're here today, listen, it's because you or someone you love is struggling with debt. You guys have told me this. You know, you shouldn't pay banks even 1 cent more in interest than you have to, right? It's like paying more in tax than you have to. You're a financial services person, you are an individual, you are a mom, a dad, you're a mortgage broker, debt counselor, life coach. I have everybody on this call, seriously. And you're someone who cares about getting rid of your debt and your client's debt. It could be because you ran out of Netflix shows to binge watch. I don't know. I mean, that may be maybe like, oh, well, might as well, don't have anything else to do. You want a new tool for marketing. What I saw with this when Teresa presented it to me was, this is great, a great thing to talk about. Don't you think so, Erica? I mean, this is something that will get people's attention. And maybe you just needed something to do while you're drinking. I'm not sure why, why, but now we're going to tell you this because Teresa and I talked about this before. All you math people and all of you financial people that are, you're really so smart. I know you are. And you're hopelessly pedantic. You're going to see numbers and you're going to go, I can get a mortgage less than that. Okay. Remember, these numbers are for illustration purposes. Okay. We know things are changing. We know that, the interest rates are at all-time lows. We know that. But we're doing this to make it easy for you to understand the process, not
and the concept.
Yeah, and the concept. So please,
Mm-hmm.
okay, don't message me. You know who you are. You know who does this, and
You're
tell
still
me
going to be paying more interest than you should have to, no matter what your
exactly.
rate is.
No matter
Yeah.
what your rate is, and so we know that, right? So what's happened is Erica's disappeared off my. There she is. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to her. But do you like that? You like my picture? Your results will vary, right? This is not a magic thing we're going to be teaching you today. You're going to have to do some work. You can't just do that all day, right? So we're going to start. And Erica, let's talk about really briefly. We only kept 2 slides on this, but we do want to let you know this is a legitimate company, and that's why we kept these slides, right? So
Right. When I learned about this company, and thank you, Tammy, for organizing this and getting us all together and to collaborate together with these amazing women is just an honor. So those of you that have hopped on, there's going to be lots of golden nuggets shared here by everyone that definitely take notes because that is why I'm here, because of Teresa and introduced to Living Wealthy Financial and all of the concepts that I've learned from them, and this just carries over to taking the truth about money to another level. So yeah, this company, the United Financial Freedom, when I was introduced to it, I heard it was these 2 guys, up in Utah, and you hear about all these smart guys in Utah, creating these wonderful things. I know they've created budgeting apps, and there's all kinds of amazing companies come out of Utah. And so I was like, well, let's see what they're all about. Well, these guys had a mortgage company back in the day, and they saw that all of these that people were coming back and they were in the same boat that they were before. And so they created this company to help people get out of debt. And so they've been in magazines. They've earned won the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, and that award's difficult to get. They don't just give that award to someone. There's financials that are studied, and so the credibility that was there, and that was me, looking into the company, thinking, okay, well, who are they? What do they stand for? And it was really the philosophy that aligned with me. So the philosophy of that, wanting to help people because of what they saw happen in 2008, 2009 when the meltdown happened. Well, they created it first, and it did have a HELOC requirement. And I think Teresa had looked at it back in the day when it did have that, and she said, well, that, you know, philosophically it doesn't align. You know, what if something happens and people don't have one? Well, so they recreated it, created it where you did not have to have a HELOC for the program to work, just a checking and savings account. And so currently they, you know, spent over $20 million on the software and have eliminated over $2 billion in debt for people. And that's what captured my attention, was that, okay, you know, just like with our debts and the things that and our money that we make, you know, you get into situations where things get tough. Well, what do? You solve that problem. Well, that's what these guys did. I love people who solve problems, or who at least attempt to solve problems. Even if they fail, I still love
Wait a
them.
minute. I cause problems. So yeah. So I mean, you know, no.
Well, without you, I mean, that's just, you know, job security for people who solve problems.
Solve problems. Actually, this was great because I wanted to say that it also caught my attention too, because when they eliminated the HELOC, that was huge, because there's a
Hmm.
lot of you on the call who've said, I have student debt, but I don't
Right,
have a mortgage. So we're
right.
going to talk about that too. So don't think that you have to be someone with a home to do this.
Any debt. I mean, if you have any debt, this program will work for you. And we're going to show you concepts later on as to why and what the program does to help eliminate that debt and how it does it most effectively. So, all right. So, how, you know, and one of the concepts and Teresa, yes, is the goddess of the infinite bank. And, you know, you see the big banks in the cities, and they're always the biggest bank, and they have the biggest sign, and, you know, they're in it to make money, and they're in it to make money and to make the most money that they can. And so with this program, it really helps you treat your finances kind of the thought process of the way the banks work. So, you know, they pay interest to earn interest. That's just what they do, right? They want to pay you the least amount of money so they can earn the most amount. I called a couple of banks today. I'm looking for a new bank for our new business and looking at interest rates, and, you know, they've got these little things they want, you know, they're going to pay you 0.5% on the savings account, and, you know, but I do have a loan with one of
Point
the banks, and it's
five,
like
0.5. Wow.
0.5. Yeah, 0.5. Yeah. They want to pay me 0.5, but they want to loan me money at 5. So that's the concept. That's what they do. That's why they do it. And that's, you know, what's happening with your mortgage as well. It's, you know, that's a bank. They're operating like a bank. So let's look at an example here. So we've got uh, a mortgage. I mean, the average mortgage is $289,000 in the United States. So we're a little bit low here, and the average interest rate, I think, is close to around 4. But the concept here is that you borrow money, you pay an interest rate, and you have a monthly payment. And with that monthly payment, you're going to be paying interest. You've got money going to principal, you've got money going to interest. But when you start making payments, and every time you make that payment, more money is going to be going to interest than it is principal. And so you got a dollar increase of going towards your principal here. And when that happens, that's not really 6% interest. I mean, if we,
Woohoo.
in a minute, we're going to show you the math on that, that if you're paying $1,000 in interest of a $1,200 pay, that's not 6% interest. You can do the math in your head right there, right? So, and this is what we want to teach people. We want to teach people in this and how the program works. We're going to educate you here on the problem that they wanted to solve. And if you look there on year 5, you only have $13,000 in equity, and you've already paid $71,000.
Wow. 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 Wow.
You know, that's 81% interest. They don't tell you that. When you learn the truth about money, this is a real truth about money principle. And
Amazing.
I didn't even know this. I thought, oh, you know, you get a 3% rate, and
It's
you know,
well hidden, Erica,
yeah,
because it would not be good marketing on their part to reveal that. Hey, you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
pay 81% interest on your house? Come see us. I don't think it would
And
work.
that's why you'll notice that if within the first 5 years your mortgage might have gotten sold, well, that company has their risk level They decrease the risk on their books and they sell your mortgage. So and so they're not making as much interest anymore. So look at year 21. You've paid $302,000 and it takes you 21 years just to break even right there. So, I mean, you're paying on a $200,000 home, after 21 years, you've paid $302,000 into it. It doesn't really make sense to do it. I mean, that's more interest than what the house cost you. It's crazy. By the time 30 years is, has come around. So when we talk about paying debt off early, you've always said, oh, well, I can make an extra payment, or I can refinance my house. I can, the majority of people, that's what they think they'll do. Make an extra payment, or they'll, send extra principal with their payment every month. They'll add $5 to it or something. But with the Money Max account, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to refinance. You don't have to figure out, okay, can I afford to send an extra $200 this month into my mortgage, not knowing what it's going to do anyway, right? That's the whole reason why this program is here, so because we know what it's going to do, and we're going to show you that later, which is really cool. It's not like a bi-weekly program where every couple of weeks you've got to do, and it's not going to take all your debt and roll it into one program. It is a mathematically algorithmic principle that, with, like I said, $20 million in development and over 2 million lines of code, and it's not taking your mortgage and putting into a reverse mortgage. So it teaches you how to make every dollar either earn interest or cancel interest, right? So you've got a savings account that's going to earn you interest, not much. If you can find one better, that's great. I found one today that was a 1%. It's just nice up to a certain amount of money. So that was kind of cool. Like, oh, 1%, that's great. But canceling
that just sounds
interest.
bad to even say that. I can, 1%, that sounds wow.
I know. That's why I love what Teresa and Kristin have taught me about whole life policies. I use my whole life policies as savings. I love it. It's like I'm my own bank. Yeah. So you don't have to have any kind of special skills to do this. Now, it's easier than QuickBooks. Some of you probably know how to use QuickBooks. It's way easier than QuickBooks. So the required components to use it are, you have to have debt, you have to have a checking and savings account, and you have to have the software. So you don't have to have the HELOC. Now, the HELOC does actually help, the advanced line of credit, or a credit card with a certain amount of limit on it that you can use to help leverage other people's money, use their money. And we're going to show you that in the example. You don't have to do that, but it does exponentially increase the debt-free date and the interest saved. So there's going to be 4 principles that we're going to teach you tonight, and those are the 4 principles that the program uses to cancel interest or earn interest. So the first one is interest accumulation. Second one, interest float. And I said that a minute ago, I explained that. And most of you on here understand what these are. And the interest cancellation and strategic payoff. So here's our first example. We've got John and Rebecca Jones. Anybody know John and Rebecca? If we do, they've signed a agreement to let us talk about their finances.
Non-disclosure, non-compete.
Non-disclosure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So John and Rebecca Jones, they make $5,000 a month. And here we're going to look at their income structure. $4,800 in expenses, $200 discretionary income. Their liabilities are their mortgage and their credit card. So some of you may say, oh, I don't have a mortgage, I only have consumer debt. Same concept. It works with any other debt. You can use your student loans, you can use any debt that you have, and we're going to show you in a minute how we can do it, how you can know which one to pay off when, even if you don't have a mortgage. So with John and Rebecca, if they have a credit card of at least $300, let's just say we're going to use an example here of them having a $300 limit on their card. When they get their first paycheck, which is their $5,000 paycheck, it's going to go into their checking account. All right. The first thing the program is going to do, and this is the program, this is a graph of what the the numbers in the program, the algorithm in the program, all those numbers in the background are working. It's going to say immediately, we're going to do interest accumulation. We're going to put it into a savings account. We're going to take that money, put it into the savings account. Now, if you have automatic drafts and automatic debits and things like that, you know, you can tell the program where you want that money to come from. So you don't have to take all of your money out of your checking if you don't want to. That's what I love about it, is you can do anything. It's totally dynamic and works with you. Okay. So once that money is into the savings account, accumulating interest, we've got a credit card here that we can use to pay the monthly bills. All right. We've got monthly expenses that we can use to put on this credit card. Now, once that credit card, now what happens at the end of the month, that credit card? You don't have to, you have to pay it off, or you have to pay the interest. Well, that's what we do here. We use other people's money to let that credit card hold that money until we get our next paycheck. All right, so that interest accumulation is in the savings. We've made the monthly mortgage payment. It's gone down $199, and at least we've got the money in that interest, that account, savings account, earning that interest. Second month, month two, they get their checking account, they get their monthly checking account or paycheck. It goes into the checking account. What is the first thing that you think they would do here? Let me ask Kristin. Kristin, what do you think the first thing they're going to do here is with that money? Obviously, well, Tammy she gave us the answer key.
I'm sorry.
That's
Kristin,
all right.
Kristin, explain though. What are they going to do with it?
Sure. Well, if you've ever had a credit card, you know that if you pay off that credit card before the end of the statement period, you don't get charged any interest, right? So the software is going to say, in order to make sure that you don't pay any interest on the expenses that you charge to the credit card, we're going to go ahead and take $4,800 and pay that credit card off.
Right. Absolutely. Okay.
Or
And just
you're gonna spend it on a brand new pair of Manolo Blahniks or something, you know, pair of shoes. You're not going to do that, right? You're not going to do that, right?
I don't think any one of us on here would do something like that. I don't think so.
I might.
You might.
I have a shoe thing. You're going to have to keep me away from the
So
shoes.
what are those
Okay.
red bottom shoes? I see a lot of women wearing those red bottom shoes that are pretty
That's
fancy.
it. Those are but you know, it takes style and skill to wear them and not fall and not trip
Good.
all over yourself.
Okay. So what's going to happen next? I'm excited with this. Okay, so I see where this is
You mean
going.
if I put those high heels on, or what?
No, not with the high heels, with the money.
Well, I'll be 6'4" if I
You
do.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. That's a long way to fall down. Oh man. Okay,
So what happened here? You guys
All
and
right.
shoes. I never talked to with women about shoes. Come on. Excuse me.
All right. So okay. So the money that's in the savings account, it has earned the interest. It's earned $12 in interest. The program's going to say, okay, take $3,789. Well, where does it get that number? Well, it just knows because it's doing the math, and it knows future expenses. It knows timing of future expenses, and the current situation that you've told it is your financial situation. So it says move back to checking. It's going to take that. Now it says now do a strategic funds transfer of 3,908. I don't know what's the amount here that it tells it to do. I think it's on the next slide, but it's going to say make a funds transfer over to the mortgage. Well, what happens when it does that? It's going to cancel out interest. And if you saw from the slides before that we had paid off during the first couple of payments, there was $199 had gone to principal. Well, if you make a strategic funds transfer here, it's going to cancel out interest. And it can be, I think this one shows to be almost 18 payments. So if you've got a $200,000 loan balance, the new principal loan balance by paying that funds transfer, it's going to give you $195,812, and that at that 6% interest rate, $11.99 a month, it's going to cancel out, 18 payments. So it went from 358 payments to 340 payments. And the original interest paid $231,677. I think it drops it down to new interest paid $212,812. So it saves almost $19,000. Is that how much it is? 19? I'm doing the math right.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah,
you know what? And that's just from making a few strategic moves, right?
that's one.
The software is telling you to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you haven't had to make a lifestyle. You haven't had to go out and, shop at a store you don't like or something and buy everything on sale. You've just made choices, right? Based on what the software said.
Right. And it's going to do that every couple of months. So, and if you think about it, if you have a student loan and that's the loan that you want to focus on, you can tell the program that's what you want to focus on. That can be the one that you're like, that's the loan I want to pay off first. Because there are coaches out there that want you to pay off the loan that is going to be the most satisfying. I know Tammy's got a client and that's what she coaches her clients on. Pay the one that's going to be the emotionally most satisfying for you. But the program will allow you to do that, but it also will, you can do automatic, which is going to be the most efficient way, which is when I mean efficient, by canceling the most interest and saving the most money and the time. So, all right. So let's go back to John and Rebecca Jones. How would you pay this off? 200,000, 6% interest mortgage. So how would you do it other than just the you've got the student loan, you've got your mortgage, you've got and the credit card, car, maybe you have a boat. I mean, like, you've got all these different things. How do you know which one to pay off? If you did, you would have already had a plan to do it, correct? Well, that's why this program is so powerful, because you don't even have to think about it. You've got all these liabilities in there. It knows how much money you're making. And that's what I mean by the strategic payoff, is because you've got all these things that are coming at you. You don't need your debt and the different debts that you have. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I don't need all of them begging for my attention, because that's what they do when I'm trying to, like, strategically pay them off or pay extra here. And it's just, I don't have any more attention to give. I mean, that's the truth right there. If I have a program that's going to tell me this is what I need to do, and it's not going to make me eat cheese and crackers forever, or even at all, I can still have whatever I want in the way that I'm living, then that's what I want to be my go-to in my financial GPS every day.
Exactly, and
Now,
I'm glad you mentioned the financial GPS part of it, because that's what really attracted me. Is that if you're good, if you're the kind of person that needs a plan or a structure, this is perfect. It just tells you, what do you do when you get up in the morning? I mean, what do how do you
yeah.
make this happen?
And you
I
don't
mean,
have to do it every day. I mean, you can go in on the weekends and update everything and, execute the actions. But as long as you've got all of your stuff in there, it's going to know how to strategically pay stuff off. It goes by how much you owe, how long the debt is, how much the interest rate is. Calculate. There's no way that you can figure this out on an Excel file. And, if you have a rate that, you have to go in and change, like today, I had to go in and change my escrow payment. My escrow account was short $200 for this year. My insurance went up. But you know what was cool about that is, because I went in and had to put it into my program, it took a month off of my debt-free date and took about $2,000 off of my interest saved into my program. And I'm like, I'm calling my insurance company. I felt like I had more confidence than just, oh, my insurance went up $200 a year. But it took time off my debt-free date and cost me more money. That's money that I could have spent somewhere else paying debts off. So that is the power of
exactly.
the program. That's just one instance that happened today. I thought you were going to say something. So,
You said
okay.
exactly. That's that. Just knowing what to do. It people hear all kinds of different debt theories. I know you hear the snowball theory and all the other stuff. It's not enough just to have somebody nagging at you. I mean, just knowing that you have a plan that you can follow is really big.
Yes. And so the plan that John and Rebecca are on is 30 years. Okay. The left-hand side, their conventional program, 30 years. The Money Max account shows them they'll be debt-free in 15.6 years. And the interest that they will have paid each. That's $121,000. And if you are in the financial industry, you know what that kind of money can do to build wealth. This is what we mean by transforming your debt to wealth. And when
It's
you're
big.
banking, Huh? Yeah, it's huge. I mean, just that it's like the light bulb comes on, like, wow, they talk about if you just started an IRA, a Roth IRA when you were young and how much money it could have been. And, you know, that was before I knew that there were other safe strategies that I would rather have my money in. But, when you bank like a bank, you get to be in control of how your money performs for you instead of just being that person who writes that check every month and sends it in and thinks, um, just following the crowd, if you will. But taking control and being responsible and being a good steward of your money is what banking like banks wouldn't be in business if they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't being a good steward of our money, right? So banking like a bank. And
But that being said, they are a little sneaky in how they present it. And I think when people start to see what happens to your clients, I want to ask you this, when they realize what this does, what's the response you've been getting? How have you been helping people with this?
they're
Real life
shocked.
people.
They are shocked that they didn't know it already. People in their 40s are shocked that they didn't know that 3.5% or even 3% interest rate, they're still paying close to 70% in interest. They just they don't. And then when I show them that they can go from 22 years in debt down to 7, it's like they light up and they think, well, wow, in 7 years my grandkids will still be in high school and I can, I can go see them, or that they'll be in high school by then and I can go see them and I can travel. And it's like there's this little bit of hope for people that they don't have to be tied to this debt 30, 40 years. Some of my analysis end up being 50 years. And then some people don't qualify. Some people, they just it's not for them. And that's why getting the free analysis and finding out if it is for you. If you don't qualify, we can help you get to the point where you will qualify. And what I mean by qualify is that you've got a good handle on your finances, what's coming in, what's going out. You're not negative cash flow. This will open your eyes if you are negative cash flow, and and there's some people that put their head in the sand and are like, I don't even want to know, I don't want to look at it, and they just live paycheck to paycheck or commission check to commission check and don't even think about what next year is going to be like.
And Erica, I
And
wanted to ask Teresa too. Teresa, what was I mean, really quickly, what is one of your biggest success stories using this as a financial advisor? Because I know we have a lot of advisors on the call. And, what was your experience using it for a client?
Well, Erica shared this with me last summer, and I cannot share something with my clients unless I could prove it that it works, right? I've got, I've got to look out for my client's best interests, like all financial advisors. And so we set this up for my son. And he was my first guinea pig. And what I saw, like what Erica just said about reducing the time that it takes to pay off debt to a ridiculous amount of time. With my son, he has really good debt. He's got a mortgage. He's got bank on yourself loans from his whole life policies. And he owes his parents, my husband and I, money for the down payment. And so they're good loans, it's good debt. But what we ended up doing, what the program helped with, was accelerate the payoff of all that debt plus 15 homes, plus continuing to contribute and build up wealth reserves in 15 years. And you heard that right, what I just said. Not only pay off his home mortgage, but 15 more properties.
I know that's huge for that. We've got real estate investors on the call too. So this will work with their, I'm assuming, Erica, with their bridge loan or, whatever kind of loans they have to put their deals together as well.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah. I have several real estate properties that I've invested in. I have 55 units, and I use this to help me figure out when am I going to be positive cash. I'm already cash flowing, but when am I going to be able to take that money home? When do I have to wait 25 years before I start getting paid from these properties that I've invested in, or am I just doing this for my son? It's like, okay, I'm just going to, get all this and pay it all off in 30 years and then I'm going to be 70. And then it's like, what
Yeah.
then?
And
I
here in
want to live
California,
now.
they give 60-year-olds 30-year mortgages sometimes. Isn't that crazy?
I know. I had a 73-year-old client the other day, had a 30-year mortgage. I'm like, that's, yeah.
These banks, how can they sleep at night? Well,
Yeah.
anyway, this
I
is your
love what you just
financial
said.
GPS, right?
What, Teresa?
Erica, I love what you just said. I love what you just said. You were thinking, when do I get the benefit of this? Is it just for my children? Is it just
Yeah.
for my son?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what most people think, right? As they've got all this debt, they're paying it down, and they're thinking, I'm not going to live long enough to enjoy the fruits of my investment, of my real estate, of all the work that I've done. Because people are on a financial treadmill and they can't
Yeah,
figure out a way off.
that's right. Yeah. If you've got a $3,000 mortgage and it's 30 years, that's $3,000 that you could have extra a month in 7 years. What could you do with that? I mean, you might not have to, you know, sweat the brow as much. It's so, having a financial GPS is just like being in your car and you're driving and you go somewhere and there's a wreck. It's going to take, it's going to defer you off to another way. And so with having different multiple streams of income, which that's me, I'm commission based. You know, I've got all these different things that are variables. But so if the commission changes, the GPS changes, the algorithm changes, the program changes. It says, okay, well, if you made twice as much money this month, and I'm speaking that into existence, okay, if you made twice as much money, then that's going to knock off a year of your debt-free date. So even if you have adjusting rates or you've got variable rates, you put those in there and it's going to adjust according to your lifestyle. Just like if you were in the car and you went somewhere and you had to take a detour. Because life doesn't, it's not just go from A to B. It's not just from here to there. We all know that. That's why other programs don't work, because it's based on your current situation, and then you never get to change that current situation. With this, you put it in when something happens. And I think I said this on our last webinar. My son had an ER visit. It was $4,000. I get to put that in there, and I don't have to stress about, oh no, that's going to be debt, or oh no, I'm going to have to make that payment every month. I get to put it in there and I get to see exactly how it affects my destination. And my destination is, I'm sure all of you will be in agreement with me, is when can I be debt free and how much money can I keep in my pocket and not let the banks have. And I love the fact that you can put in there when you want to go on a vacation. I've never planned for a big vacation to go somewhere. We've always just kind of gone camping here and done small, vacations, or, took the Airstream down Pacific Coast Highway, but never huge travel expenses that would, people talk about going on cruises, 15,000. Well, I can put a $15,000 cruise in there and say, okay, in 2 years, this is what I want to happen. And the program says that, well, this is how it affects everything else. When we make financial decisions, we don't really know what is it costing us. We know what it costs us financially, but we don't really know what it costs us with our time. And when I say time, I mean, well, yeah, the debt-free date, but our time to have to continue to work to pay off those other debts. And when I put my son's expense in there and I clicked this little button, it's called True Cost, it showed me what it really cost us. Now, of course, I don't care because it's an emergency room visit, but if that was a four-wheeler or a new boat or a new car, I could put that
Or
in
a
there and
pair
say,
of designer shoes.
yeah, a pair of designer shoes, or, Louis Vuitton. I
This
don't
is
have one,
important
but yeah, you know,
because financial advisors always tell me they have a hard time getting people's minds wrapped around the opportunity cost and those kind of things that
mhm.
erode people's money. And
Yeah, you have to
people
see
can't,
it.
you have
You
to
have to
see
see what
it.
it does. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I don't play video games, but I know my son does. And, there's benefits and there are ramifications for everything that you do. And if you can see that in real time, you can even start to modify behavior. And with the financial GPS, if you start getting rewarded with, in your mind is a core value of yours, which is, the paying off the debt and, being a good steward or whatever your core values are, then if that starts getting rewarded, then we have found our clients pay their debts off 20% faster than what we tell them. So, they're doing better than what we even say you could possibly do, which, that is a true picture of what your finances get. And I'll just be honest, I never really had I always could make money and create money and there'll be more and, that kind of thing. But I feel like an adult and I feel responsible with this program. A 50-year-old grown up with my money.
Hey, the other thing I was going to say, if these people should develop this for dieting, can you imagine if we could see the effect of that donut, in a year, 2 years? People would
Yeah.
eat better, wouldn't they? I
Yeah.
mean, it's sort of like you have to see it to believe it. And this is why this is so good for financial advisors.
That's a great analogy, Tammy, because people get that, right? If you could see the effect that that donut is going to have or that bowl of ice cream is going to have on your body tomorrow, 5 days from now, or a month from now, or a year from now, would your behavior change?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yep.
it would, especially if you're trying to, if your reward is going to be a new outfit or something.
I don't think I would have played basketball in college if I'd have known that my knees were going to be like they are now. I would have said,
We forgot
no.
we forgot to tell everybody that Erica's like 1,000,000 feet tall and she played college basketball. We forgot to tell people that. Now they know.
Well, they might make me play again. So somebody did ask me to play today, and it's hard to say no. I can't even go into a gym without shooting. It's crazy. But anyway, okay, paying off debts. This program, when you make educated decisions with your spouse, with your partner, with a business partner, you get to make educated decisions about how you pay off the debts. It helps you stay focused on, okay, what's important as a family, because you get to look at this stuff together. You get to look at the numbers in real time and see, okay, should we refinance? Is it a smart thing to do? Because you can put the refinance information in there and you can compare it to what you have now. I did an analysis not too long ago. Someone wanted to refinance going from 4.1% down to 2.75, and they were going to do a 15-year refi, and from 22 years to 15 years. It wasn't financially smart to do that. Because of the cash flow, they were having the same amount of money paid out with that program. They were going to be paying the same amount of money out, but their cash flow was going to decrease. So it didn't make sense for them to do that. So I love that you can put that in there and you can stay focused and keep track on what's important for you to have success. So, and of course, building wealth. That's our motto here at Living Wealthy, is helping people build wealth without risk.
And this is something for advisors too, that a lot of the one of the number one reasons that their clients push back against putting more money into their retirement, even though they know they need to, and the advisor will say, well, look, you're really behind in what you need to save to be wealthy in retirement. This will take away some of that because they'll have cash flow now that they can use, so they can't use that excuse anymore.
Right. So the Money Max account, what it does not do, it doesn't move your money. For instance, at the end of the year, because I had the program, I thought about my contribution into my whole life policy. And I knew that, my anniversary date was coming up in January. It made me consciously aware of what I could do, and that, it brought my money more personal to me. It made me realize, I want to pay myself first. I want to get this money in there. And so it doesn't move your money for you, but it does make you aware of that you need to do it, or that if you do this, this is what will happen. This is what the benefit of it is. So, and it doesn't pay your bills for you. You still have to pay your own bills, and there's no account numbers needed. You can link your bank account. I have found, and I think Kristin has found, that it is a lot easier just to put that information in yourself. And no one ever has access to your money. It is all you. It functions like as a register, kind of like your QuickBooks would, or your Quicken, whatever program you're using. And all it wants to know is the truth. And that truth being, how much money are you making? How much money is coming into your household? And how much is going out? And the timing of those events. So it does track and maintain a monthly budget. I use another app for budgeting, and I kind of merge them together. So in summary, let's talk about what it means to
I was
get
going
to.
to say, I was just thinking if the government had this going on for them, we wouldn't have that debt clock, would we?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And they say the debt clock, that credit card debt was going down. That was at the beginning of last year. What I have found is for businesses, that may have been consumers, but I think businesses have they've had to carry themselves through this pandemic with their
A lot of individuals too, Erica. I just read that the consumer debt's starting to creep back up again.
Yeah,
So it's
I
because
imagine so.
when you haven't worked, there's a lot of businesses here in California that will never come back. And so, we've got kind of an issue. So
Yeah.
eliminating debt is a very timely topic, I believe.
Right. Yeah. Well, that and just the freedom that it creates, and when you can eliminate your debt in a shorter amount of time, and it helps you make those educated financial decisions, and it can help you improve your credit score because you're making these payments when they're supposed to be paid, and the program tells you when those payments need to be paid. You're doing it, you're executing it into the action plan, and you get this program for life. So it's not just you buy this home and you have it for this one home, or if you don't have a home, you get this program from house to house. So forever. And if you have more than one mortgage, that's fine too. We can accommodate people that are investors and have up to 99 mortgages. So there's no monthly fees, either contracts, surprises, anything. You actually do have a live home office that can help you with customer support, and they're coaches and they're trained in the program. I love helping my clients personally because I want to know them. I want to keep reminding them of their goals. And so that education that I get to give them one-on-one is great too. I love doing that. So
Well,
it's
Erica, this could be something though, if an advisor could share, like on a Zoom call with their clients. If the client wanted to share their results with the advisor, and would give the advisor an excuse to contact that client again and stay in
and it's
touch.
value. And your clients will love you for it because, there's some people on here are not, they're not financial advisors, but, you may know someone who is, or you may have a financial advisor and you're like, okay, well, think about it. If he sat down with me and talked to me about this program and my money, he or she money, and, and said, hey, here's where you could be, then you're going to be a customer for life. So if you're a financial advisor or an agent and you help someone, and we do this anyway, we give this added value to our customers, but they just get to take control of it and take the responsibility of it, having the program.
Oh,
And so
this
what
is
do
the
we
fun
mean?
part. This is the
Yeah,
fun
what do we
part.
mean by get a free analysis report? Well,
Yeah.
if you've got debt, those 4 things are, if you've got the 3 things required to get an analysis report: debt, got a checking and savings account, and you don't know your debt-free date, and you don't know how much money you could save, that's what the savings analysis report will do.
Okay, hang on just a second. I got a couple of questions. You got a chance for some questions here?
Yeah.
It says, let's see. Well, how can you use pay down the mortgage when you have it? Okay, we're going to have to talk to Byron. Okay, Byron, I knew Byron was going to be on here and he was going to ask these tough questions. So Byron, I want you to be the first person that we do an analysis for, so you can pick Miss Sherwood's brain here. And then Mark Young said, hey, Nelson Nash would be proud of you guys. Great presentation. Thank you, Mark. That's sweet. I don't get involved in these things, but when Teresa Kuhn calls me with something, I stop what I'm doing and I listen, and sometimes I give her a hard time, but usually I listen to what she says, because she's not one, she's like super mathy and super nerdy. So she's not one to jump on bandwagons, and just neither is Kristin. So I know when they're telling me stuff that they're really doing it. And I have just profound respect for Living Wealthy Financial. I do work with financial advisors all over the country, and they're my favorites. I mean, Byron
Hey, Tammy,
too.
question. I, I've got a friend who is a user of the product, and she wants to hop on. She's got to hop off
Oh,
in like
cool,
5 minutes, but she wants to
cool.
hop on and just kind of give a quick testimony. So I don't know what you need to do to unmute her to allow her to
I
speak.
can do it. I can do it. Let me find her on the list. What is her
Christina,
name?
Christina Scholand,
I got
Sjolund.
Christine Hodges. I don't.
It's Kristina.
Okay, there she is. Okay, I'm going to unmute you right now, Christina. Oops. Oh, she's self. Okay, there she is. Christina,
Okay,
you're live.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, just real quick. So, Erica introduced this to me this past summer when she was up visiting, and I I need to be more consistent with it. I will be very upfront with that. But when she sat down with me and we started plugging in my numbers, and I've got a 30-year mortgage. I do have it's called a 3-in-1 loan. So it's basically my entire mortgage is a HELOC. And we were able to do the numbers. She plugged it. I'm commission based as well, like Erica is. And we were able to put in my numbers, and with my house, I have one credit card and a car lease and a car payment. And I would be debt free, and I believe it was just under 7 years or 7 years. Do you remember, Erica? I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah,
And
it was around 7.5 years or so, and we had played with some other things, adding them in, and it dropped it even more.
exactly. And so I love the way that it tells you at the top when you're plugging in your numbers, it tells you how long you've got until you would be debt free. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So you have everything at your fingertips. It's a budgeting tool. You can see exactly how even the smallest expense, you can see how it affects the long term. I really do love it. And I mean, if somebody's checking it out, I really highly recommend it, because for myself, with a 30-year mortgage here, I'm thinking that I've got 30 years. And then, when seeing the numbers and how, if I were to, be doing it exactly how the system tells me to do it, to cut 23 years, almost 23, 22 years off of my debt.
And a few $100,000 in interest.
And oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that part.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Because when you see that number of what you don't spend on all of that, it gives you a lump in your throat, because these are the things that we're not told, even though we should know, because it's on our papers. It's on our papers when we sign our mortgage. It's just that we're not looking at that because we're looking at our monthly payment. And everybody thinks, well, everybody's got a payment, everybody's got a mortgage, everybody's got this. Well, we don't have to live like everybody else. We don't have to. Like, we can live debt free if we put our minds and our money to it. And if we make those decisions, the smart decisions, we can absolutely not live like everybody else.
And you have advisors, you have financial advisors, you've come on board with Living Wealthy to help, build your wealth now. But it's not like you've been an entrepreneur your whole life, pretty much a
Correct.
long time. I mean, as long as I've known you too. And you had people advising you, and it was like this whole new revelation to how it all works. And it's not like you were just out in the wind sailing. You were on top of, you thought you were on top of everything.
Well, but okay, I'm glad that you say that, because banks, they say that they're there for us, they hold our money and all of that stuff, but really they're in it for themselves, because what is interest? Interest is paying the banks. Financial advisors, how do you think they make their money? By advising us and playing with our money. So the more money of ours that they have to quote unquote invest, the higher dollar amount that they've got playing with our money, the more that they make. And so of course they're going to, they're going to advise you in the programs that they think are best for you. And in fact, my financial advisor had told me not to pay off my mortgage. He told me, because I told him, I said, well, I want to pay my house off, that's why I got the all-in-one loan. And he said, are you sure? Like, he really tried to talk me out of it. And he goes, but for tax purposes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, and he's the financial advisor and he's smarter than me, right? Well,
Right.
so, and then but why would I want to pay so much extra interest? Why would I? So
Yeah, just to
gosh, I
save,
could go on,
that little
I
bit
tell
of just to deduct a little bit of interest on the mortgage interest. Why wouldn't you want to save $300,000 instead of, getting to write off, 50,000 a year in interest? You'd want to
Right,
save all that money so you can build wealth with it.
Well,
exactly.
thanks so much for that, Christine, because it's nice to hear from a real person that's using it. And I see the benefits when just the emotional benefit that you pointed out was so great, because that is part of the hurdle. A lot of our problems are, due to psychological barriers, and this can really help overcome that so that people can make sounder financial decisions. And that's a really important part of the puzzle. And those of you, and we're coming up at an hour now. So those of you, Erica, tell them what the next step is, okay? Because we haven't talked about money. We're not going to talk about money. We're not going to talk about take
Mhm.
out your credit cards. That's not what this is. This is
Right.
about giving you
Even
an
if you asked how
overview.
much does it cost, I couldn't tell you that right now because we run an analysis on every individual person. Every
Exactly.
person is different. We we need to get your numbers into the program and run that analysis for you, and it's specific for you. Each one is individual, and that would be the next step. Get on my calendar. Let's get you. We can do it as early as tomorrow. It takes 45 minutes, and we can show you how much money you're going to save. I mean, if you could save $300,000, or you have a friend that you could tell about this, and they could save $300,000 and be debt free in a third to half the time, wouldn't you want to know even if that was possible? And that's what the analysis is for. That's what we do on the analysis.
Right. And if you're an advisor, and you should do this for yourself anyway, just so you can see the mechanics of how it works, so that if you are interested in coming on board, you can talk to Erica about all the different situations involving advisors. If you're a mortgage broker, if you are multifamily, she can really speak to that. So she can answer those questions.
Sure.
If you have other questions, you can contact her, get on her schedule. She will do a walkthrough. Teresa and Kristin, do you have any parting thoughts about this?
I think what I would say, Tammy, is that, a lot of financial advisors, Living Wealthy included, when we come up with these plans for our clients, we're putting them on spreadsheets. And the great thing about this program versus a spreadsheet is that spreadsheets can't pivot with you, right? So when life changes, when your money situation changes, you have to go back in and create a whole new spreadsheet from scratch. So this doesn't do it. This pivots with you. It makes changes as your life changes, and it really gives you someone that's going to be there to hold your hand as you make decisions regarding your finances. So I think it's such a powerful system, and I really encourage people on the call today to schedule that introductory call with Erica.
And Teresa?
Kristen, I love that. Yep. Kristen, that was great. I 100% agree. And the only other thing is, from a financial advisor perspective, we're financial professionals. We cannot be there to hold our client's hand every single step of the way, every single expense that they have, every single financial decision that they need to make in terms of should they buy a car, or which car should they buy, or how much is the true cost, opportunity cost of the purchases that they're making. This does it for them. And if they ever get stuck, there's the customer service department at UFF that is there to help you with the software. And they are fabulous. They are fantastic. So any issues you've got for the life of your software, for as long as you live, you've got the software and you've got that support.
Hey, thanks, Teresa. And I want to thank everybody. This is just an overview, but I think you get the principles. And I want to thank Erica for doing such a great job of explaining this. She wants to explain it to you guys in person. Please at least take a look at it. Get your analysis done. See what you know. This could be the greatest marketing thing for some of you that are brokers and bank or finance company people and mortgage brokers. And for those of you that are just ordinary people with overwhelming debt, it's going to feel so good to see a light at the end of the tunnel. I remember when I got my credit card debt off, I thought I was never, had like $30,000 worth of credit card, and I got it. I remember the day when it was all gone, and I went, wow. I just felt so good. So I want you guys to feel good. Again, I bring these things to you not to tell you this is the end all, do all, be all. I do think this is a great tool. And again, my name is Tammy DeLu. We will be bringing you many, many more webinars, and we're also going to send you the replay of this. And by the way, Erica, Kristin Lucan donated that course. You guys were redirected when you registered. If you need that link again to finish that that spending course, which is excellent, by the way, or you want to give it to your clients, please reach out to me and I will give you the link, direct link, and you can send it to your clients. So thanks so much, Teresa, Erica, and Kristin for being on the call, and everybody else that was here today. I love you all. I want you to prosper. Take care of Texas for me, Erica. All right. And,
Well, I'll keep it nice and warm in this freezing cold weather.
It's gonna be 11 degrees or something there, and I'm sitting here in 75-degree weather, but oh well. We won't talk about that. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Thank you for spending happy hour with us, and we will all talk later. Take care.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.